We're about to start. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Sunrise meeting. And everybody should be standing at the sound of the bell. I hope the Sag saw that. All right, so I'm gonna ask Secretary-elect Leah Carlo to do our invocation, please.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for waking us up this morning. We thank you for bringing us to this meeting safely. We ask that you pray for those that are on their way, as well as those that are joining remotely. And we also come to you today asking for your guidance, your wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion and allow us to grow closer as a group. These things we ask in your precious name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you for that. And to do the loyal toast, let me invite PhD Karen to the podium for our loyal toast. And to announce our raffle. Hope it's an exciting raffle prize this morning.
Thank you, Madam President. Fellow Rotarians and guests, raise your cup, mugs, glasses to the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
To the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
And this morning we have something that all of us need, except those who have already moved into the future. We have a $50 gas voucher. So 1 for 5, 3 for 10.
Thank you. All right, you may be seated, guys. Right, I see we have a few visitors online. And so without further ado, I'm going to invite Secretary Duran to do our welcome and introductions. If you are online and you're a visitor, please open your mic when he asks to announce who invited you and introduce yourselves. Thank you.
Let's see if we can get this. Good morning. Rotarians and guests. I can see that we don't have any guests in the room, so all very familiar faces. Not as yet. Not as yet. But online, I see we have Michael Cartwright. Michael, can you open your mic and introduce yourself? I believe President Darnell is your sponsor.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Good morning. Good morning, fellow Rotarians. Good morning, Madam President. Sounds really strange saying that, but good morning. By way of, I guess, formal introduction, my name is Michael Cartwright. I'm the husband of Doneth Cartwright. Yay! And I guess I've been an honorary member of Nassau Sunrise for about 7 years through various events and things that I've attended with President Doneth. I'm actually a hotel executive and have been for the past 20 years, where I've worked at some of the world's most iconic properties, either opening them or transitioning them, including Baha Mar a few years ago. Presently, I am in Miami, Florida, as Director of Banquet Operations for the Fontainebleau Hotel. It's a very, very large property, and opening another property in Vegas in the next 2 years. And I manage a $50 million a year department. So there's a lot going on there. I am very excited because I could not wait until the Satellite Club got off the ground. So presently I have an application in to be a member of the Satellite Club, since I'm not always able to make it there every Thursday. But yes, thank you very much. And good to be on board. Thank you.
Hey! Welcome, Mike.
Thank you.
Okay, we also have Johansi Kemp, who is also a prospective member of the Satellite Club. Nancy, if you don't mind, can you?
Hi, good morning. My name is Johansi Camp. I almost said my age, but a production executive with a few different companies. I was invited by Mrs. Cartwright, and I once again look forward to being receiving the knowledge that I normally get from these meetings. So thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, there being no other guests in the room, I believe that is my job for the morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Duran. Need someone to do the vote of thanks for first speaker of the morning. Michael. Yes, and my job talk, yes. Or get the fine. Yes, yes, to get a fine. So you owe us, Michael, first fine to the city.
Oh, wow. Okay, you'll pay it.
Well, thank you. I know you're.
Add it to my list.
So our hot topic this morning, are you ready for it? Is the cost of education too high? Yeah, or is it the cost of not provided education too high? Let me hear your thoughts. Yeah. So Patrick agrees with me, Director Patrick agrees that not having proper education is, the cost of that is too high.
Yeah.
Any other thought? Anybody online want to chime in our hot topic?
Cost of education too high? I would say yes. Because you have to go into debt more than likely to get a college degree. Some persons, most persons obviously can't afford it. 6 figure college degree, 4 years. Hopefully, you're taking up a degree that actually makes sense. That you can actually, in the end, pay off all that debt.
Sounds like America, like you're studying in the US. No, it doesn't have to be. You can study right here at home. We have good educational facilities, and but sometimes we choose to do it abroad. So we have to plan for that. But not having an education expensive. Yeah. Who's paying it? Yes. Yeah. But fun fact, I don't know if they do that here, but when I was a little girl, my mother bought me a goat when I was young, and I got so attached to it. Eventually I had over 100 goats. Little did I know that this was part of my tuition to go to university. So I never ever took a student loan. And I know that within the Caribbean, people find ways to get, help to get at least a first degree. I think if you're going to do a master's or, some higher level degrees, then by then you should be able to foot some of the bill yourself, which is what happened in my case. But I don't think it has to be when I hear the cost of education in the US and the high student loan debt that they carry for years and years and years, I really feel sorry for them. I opted to have my son study in Jamaica as well, because I'm not paying those high tuition fees when you can get a decent education right here at home. But we'll hear more from our speaker, because I'm sure she has been in the education sector. Is there a differing view? PE, Dino, you're itching to say something. Sounds like your pocket is burning somewhere.
No, I was just going to summarize and say the cost of education can be very exorbitant. But having kids who are not educated is going to be a high cost for you ongoing, because if they're not educated, they're going to still, and we see this even with kids who have university degrees in the States, many of them coming back home and still a burden on the parents. So,
or they can't find a job within the area.
Because of the type of degrees or the job market, so not research. In Canada, it's not cheaper, but it's heavily subsidized by the government.
Right.
So that may, and that's the same thing here. Government some value to the community, and that's my speech, sorry.
Yeah. Great. All right, great contribution to our hot topics this morning. Thank you, guys. Give yourselves a round of applause. And now invite Chair Tamara to recognize milestones, birthdays, anniversaries, etc.
Good morning,
Alright.
Rotarians and guests. Please excuse my voice this morning. I'm having a sore throat issue, but I want to welcome all of our guests this morning, including President's husband and Johansi. Welcome, welcome, welcome to everyone. We have no birthday celebrations this week, many next week, but I'll wait until next week to bring those across. But celebrating Rotaversaries this week are William Mills, PG Felix Stubbs, PP Tanya Woodside, all celebrating 22 years in Rotary as of May 8th, 2001. We also have celebrating this week on May 10th, Magnal Thompson, 16 years. So happy Rotaversary to you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. And just want to say a very special Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all mothers in Rotary Club of Nassau Sunrise. I know you'll have a wonderful weekend ahead. So happy Mother's Day, everyone. That's it for me, President.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's my anniversary too. I'm a charter member.
I was about to tell Chair Tamara that she's going to have to pay a fine because not only did you forget Melanie, you forgot PE Dino as well.
Well, Mel is on May 17th and Dino is on the not so far from her. So I was going to do that next week. But yeah.
Okay, you're excused tomorrow. You're excused.
That's why I said we have a lot, but I'll save some for next week.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
So these are our charter members. So. Or whoever the first secretary of the club was. Who was that? Who was the first secretary?
Was that Campbell? Yeah, the guy.
It was a guy?
Yeah, it was a guy.
Okay, guys, great to know that you've been here for 22 years and we're still going strong. And this year we are a Blue Diamond Club, guys. Conference, we were presented with the Blue Diamond Award, which was in a way a surprise because there was no Blue Diamond category. But a special category was created for about 3 or 4 of the clubs because we were doing above way above what was required. At some other point, I'll share with you all that goes into this, but this has become a tradition where we win the top award. It's not the first, but I'm really proud that this year they created an even special award for us because as a club, we've been doing well. We're strong and we're growing. Have our issues and we still have some issues to work out and there's no perfect club, but I want to thank each and every one of you for your contribution in every single way, whether it's donations, your time, your talent, your treasures. We appreciate you and thank you because you made this happen. Thanks, Nassau Sunrise. All right, is the Sarge online? All right, if the Sarge is not on, we'll skip over the Sarge.
Yep.
And, oh, you're there. Okay, go ahead, Sarge.
Nice. I am right here, so I may have to find you a few dollars, President Don asked for that. All right, so good morning, fellow Rotarians and guests. Hope everyone is doing well today. Let's start off with a happy dollar for today. So I'll put in a happy $3. I am happy to be alive. I'm happy to be a part of this club. I'm looking forward to a successful Rotary year next year. Anybody else?
Yes.
nobody has a happy dollar, I need to find everyone a dollar who is attending the meeting today.
We're getting some happy $5 in the room, Todd.
Okay, awesome. All right.
I'm happy for all of the celebrations. We're going to pets and district conference and being back in the Bahamas, and our anniversary dinner was also a great hit. So a lot of things to be happy for. And happy to be here in the room fellowshipping with my fellow Rotarians. And some people even turn their head down and look at the phone.
All right. Is there anybody else?
I'm just happy to be here with my Rotary family.
Hey, yeah.
All right, awesome. Now the joke for the morning, right? Let me ask you guys a question. What did the proton tell the electron? I'll repeat it again. If you were in science class back in high school, what did the proton tell the electron?
Your behavior is shocking.
Nah. Close, but the proton told the electron, don't be so negative.
Oh.
All right. And with that, I will give it back to President Doness.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that was supposed to be the joke. Director Patrick. All right, let's give the clerk a round of applause. All right, and now we have announcements. Any announcements? Are you coming to make an announcement? Okay, so I have one, our empowering girls. So guys, even though we won our award and the year is winding down and we just have about 5.5 weeks and some hours left in this Rotary year, we have 2 projects that I would love for us to complete. One is the Empowering Girls event, and we have an opportunity to do that on May 21st. It's a Sunday, and it will be showing of a documentary, Gender Inequality in the Bahamas. And there are aspects of it. It was recently premiered at Fusion. It was a hit, I'm told. Our own Rotarian Janelle rated it a 10 out of 10. We're going to have a viewing at 4 Walls on the 21st at 2 p.m. It's a matinee, and we'll be bringing in some more interactors, some more young girls, 15 and over, to watch this documentary. The room capacity is 50, so we're reserving 15 for Rotarians who are interested. Please reach out to me or PP Tanya. And the others would be girls from various schools who will come to view this documentary. And then we'll have a little panel discussion and we'll have some pre-talks before they watch the documentary. So it's really to get women to think about, young women, teens, to think about their future and what it means to be a woman in the Bahamas. And helping them to chart a course where they will take charge of their rights. So please note that in your diary, and if it's oversubscribed, we may have a second viewing, because I know this is a documentary that a lot of persons would want to see. It's been shown at Island House and a few other places, but we're doing our own premiere, for want of a better word. And the second project that I'd like us to complete before the year is out is to paint the little libraries. So our little libraries are not looking so good in some of the locations. And they have our club's logo. They have Brighter Bahamas logo. And they want to partner with us to paint them to facelift. And the idea is to paint them into nice, bright colors. Because a lot of times people walk by them, they don't see them because it's a white box that has turned mildew. So we're going to paint them with some nice painting and put a lacquer finish so they look like pieces of art on the building or the trees that they're currently on. So please, you'll hear some more about the date. We're trying to work out the best date and time for us to get together. And we'll be doing them in color teams. And so you'll get together with your color teams and we'll have prizes for the best boxes. All right, so look forward. Those are the 2 projects that I want to close out the year with, and I'm craving your support, begging your support to make this happen before we exhale. P. Dino and our Secretary-elect Leah Carla, they were in St. Croix for the training of the new officers of the club. What was great about St. Croix is that there was nothing to do. There was nowhere to go. There was no sightseeing. There was nothing to look out through the window at. So they got everything, and I know they're ready to hit the ground running. And so please, the support that you gave me and more, I'm asking you to please invest that in another great Rotary year that will be coming up, led by P.E. Dino, the affable P.E. Dino, and charming Leah Carla. All right, so yes. All right, so we'll get right into our main speaker for this morning, our very own. Don't need introduction, but we're going to make sure that she's introduced. And so I'm going to invite P.E. Dino to come and introduce our dynamic speaker, Dr. Sophia Rowe.
Good morning. Good morning, Rotarians and guests. Just before I start to introduce Dr. Rowe, remember our upcoming old school dance, okay? If you're gonna see me dance, you have to be there, right? Have to be there. Yeah. All right, so good morning. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our very own Dr. Sophia A. Rowe, artist, author, consultant, justice of the peace, mother, and associate professor of business and tourism management at the University of the Bahamas. Dr. Rowe holds 4 earned degrees, the Associate of Arts in Hotel Management, a Bachelor of Science in Business Management honors from St. Augustine's University, Raleigh, North Carolina, and the Master's of Science degree honors in Hotel, Restaurant, and in Institutional Management, and a Doctor of Philosophy degree honors in Family and Consumer Science Education with an emphasis in Tourism Management, both from Iowa State University, Ames, Iowa. Professionally, Dr. Rowe has kept busy, right? You can see that, right? In the world of academia and industry, researching, teaching, and consulting over various pedagogical areas of tourism development and its impact on small island development states, such as the Bahamas. She, along with 2 other colleagues, published textbooks on tourism development, governance, and sustainability in the Bahamas, and pandemics, disasters, sustainability, tourism, an examination of impact on the resilience in Caribbean small island states. Both textbooks are now available on Amazon and other noted publishing houses. Sophia is also a proud recipient of many distinguished scholarly certifications, awards, and accolades, including the prestigious CASIC Award for Human Resource Development, presented to her in 2005 by the Bahamas Ministry of Tourism. Besides teaching and research, Dr. Rowe was recommended by the Governor General of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas to serve as Justice of the Peace for the entire Bahamas. She maintains active affiliations with many local and international organizations and is a board member of the Governor General Youth Award, a member of the Board of Directors of the Bahamas Civil Aviation Authority, a founding director of Friends of the Arts, past president of our very own Rotary Club of Nassau Sunrise, and a lifetime member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. The remainder of her time is spent mentoring her daughter, Ebony Deanne, and nurturing her enriching artistic career. Dr. Rowe is recognized locally and internationally for her eclectic and prolific fluid art designs and paintings. Her pieces are hung and displayed in the Bahamas, Canada, Caribbean, the United States, one in my home, If you're interested in reviewing her works, you may visit the gallery's website at Villa. Please help me welcome Dr. Rome. We call her Deacon Sophia.
I no longer serve on the board of Barnes, but yeah. Okay, so this presentation this morning, welcome everyone. It's going to be very brief, and perhaps you may have heard some of the things already by my colleague last week, Dr. Bob. So I'm just here to highlight a couple of things about education, past, present, and future. Some of this obviously is taken from some of this does not necessarily reference what's happening here, but it parallels easily with what we know to be education. Okay, so I'm going to be using this clicker and let's see how well this works. Yes, I'm clicking. Should I be pointing somewhere? Okay, there you go. So education in the past, and again, this is the stuff that parallels easily with what we know to be our educational experience in the past. In the 1880s, the Elementary Education Act made education compulsory for 5 to 10-year-olds, and that is the same as what happened here. As those of us who would have grown up in the Bahamas, some of us didn't. It is still compulsory for 5 and 10-year-olds, or up to the 10-year-old, to go to school and attend as a school in the Bahamas, whether you're Bahamian or not. As long as you're here, you're mandated to go to school. And so that hasn't changed. And just some additional facts here about the National Education League. We have our own parallel organizations here in country, suggesting that, and this was happening in the early 1980s, that only the wealthy kids really attended school because they could. Children from wealthier backgrounds were sent to grammar school and taught Latin. Now, I know probably Felix remembers when Latin was taught in schools here in the country. I'm not dating you, but I'm just saying that was a thing. I remember my sister, my older sister, who's moved on now, was fluent in Latin because that was a subject that was taught in schools. And so girls of wealthier families were usually educated at home. Poorer children were instructed in manual labor and what we now know as internships. And so that is actually true. I remember for sure my mom, my grandmother, and those, they went to school up to a certain age, and then afterwards they were encouraged to pick up a trade. I remember my father, and I always talk about this, telling me and my twin, when we went to ask him for somebody to go off to school, why don't you all learn a trade? Like sewing policeman uniforms. I'll never forget that. Never. Because, like, sewing policeman uniform, what is that about? But that certainly was the impetus for us wanting to go on and get some additional training. Excuse me, can we move? Okay, children were also taught basic educational skills. Students' comfort was considered where school desks were basic. Wooden furniture, this picture suggests that these things now are considered collectibles. The desks are now for some collectors' items. And obviously depicting the 19th century classroom. Inkwells, I could, old pictures and old movie clips will tell you exactly what those educational environments look like. And yeah, not even, blackboard, but teachers wrote on and that kind of thing. Education in present day. Oh, okay, you moving it along. Thank you. Since the introduction of examinations in 1858, not much has changed. In a document, the director of the Cambridge Assessment Network states, in the examination system, the pressure to perform created its own set of dynamics. Examiners' reports expressed disappointment that students did not demonstrate that they understood what they had learned. And this is our current situation right now, believe it or not. The question remains, do examiners only test those with good recall skills and not necessarily intelligence? The future arguments remains that the education system still does not do enough to differentiate abilities. And this is a beautiful quote by Albert Einstein. Whether he said it or not, it's still relevant today. Everybody is a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing it's stupid. Fish. That's a powerful statement, because what's happening is we're not really assessing students' true abilities. We're just putting this blanket approach on education and saying, well, geez, we know Patrick is an electrician, not saying that you can't do anything else, but we know that you've excelled in that area. But if we shove you into an accounting area, then you'll continue to be an electrician and not the accountant that we want. And so this is very powerful and very true today in terms of how we even examine our students. Oh, go, okay. Next slide, please, because my clicker isn't working. Okay, despite the continued argument about whether to test or not to test, some things have changed for the better. An example was and this is something that I pulled from my research, Building Schools for the Future project. And of course, we have a number of examples locally that we can use. In 2000, funds were injected to help improve primary and secondary schools. One thing that I must say about our government, this is through successive governments, we've always had a focus on building up our youth through educational opportunities. And so that is true, whether it's here, whether it's someplace else, we see that we continue to pour millions of dollars in education. Education, in fact, has one of the highest budgets during the budget period. And so there is a push, there is a continued need to educate, but educate in different ways now. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more. Different ways of educating youth. And so it talks about the IT platform and what's happening. Again, this is our present day dispensation. The project, including, in this case, installing new IT platforms. Again, some of our classrooms, and those of you with kids in here know that IT is lacking in a lot of our classroom environments. We still sometimes want to do the chalk and talk presentation, and that is not working because we know our kids, they're very familiar with technology, and we ought to be teaching through technology with our children, but are we doing it in our classrooms? It remains to be seen. So sometimes sometimes I question the amount of money we're putting into this traditional kind of education where, the kids are still being forced to buy books and all of these kinds of things when there are other opportunities, educational opportunities that's available to them and that they can embrace. Next one. So, and then this is where I want to spend a little bit more time, the future of education. Education does not only include primary and secondary schools, it encompasses colleges, apprenticeships, different from the apprenticeships of my mother and father, but apprenticeships, university adult education, and those with special needs, to name but a few. And just before we move off of this, go back to that slide for me, please. Before we move off that slide, we can see how this teacher is teaching or facilitating this lesson. And I thought that was a powerful example to put there in terms of where we are going with teaching education. It's, you see, he's just pointing to a skeletal and it's projected in an artificial intelligent realm. And so that is how, this is where we're going in educational environments. Now, there is a fear that the education system is going backwards, that the poor of society cannot risk taking out loans. Someone mentioned that earlier, to fund education, even more expensive studies, and therefore that social mobility will be determined by where people grow up and not by their ability. That is one of the sad realities. There has inevitably been talk regarding the role technology will play in the future of education. Some teachers want to push technology as far as it will go and are keen that it should have a greater influence in the classroom. Some teachers who are familiar with this technology want to be able to do that. Next slide. So as an example of the technological advancement in the classroom, and this is current, this is not even, I spoke to some educators at UB the other day and I mentioned ChatGPT. They didn't even know what I was talking about. This is where we are right now, okay? And ChatGPT is an artificial intelligence chatbot developed by OpenAI and released in November 2022. It is built on top of OpenAI's GPT 3.5 and GPT 4 foundational large language models and has been fine-tuned using supervised and reinforced learning techniques. And that's straight off of Wikipedia. I want to show you a very small clip of what ChatGPT is and why it is so impactful right now in our educational environment. Something that those of you with small children, you need to be very, very concerned because it's giving every profession jitters. Just listen. So I'm waiting on my deck. This is only a 2-minute clip.
Everyday life for simple everyday tasks to make your
It's coming. Mute this. Mute that. Mute that.
template that you can copy and paste into your email, tweak it a little, and send. The second way you can help is by and within sometimes you're sitting there, you're ready to write the email and the words are just not coming out. Despite being a necessary task, sometimes it can be dreadful and time consuming. Now with ChatGPT, all you have to do is input the type of email that you want to write and for who, and within seconds, it's gonna produce a template that you could copy and paste into your email, tweak it a little, and send. The second way you can help is by composing a basic list. Now, if you're like me, lists help you keep organized. However, they take some time to actually write. Now with ChatGPT, all you could do is input the type of list you want, and within seconds, you got your basics. For example, I did basic grocery list, and within seconds, I had a list with all your basic refrigerator needs. The third way it could help is with some motivation. Now I know you might be thinking, how is a robot going to motivate me? Jitters and nerves before big events are normal, and ChatGPT can help with that. I told ChatGPT I needed help with a presentation. What it did was output a plan that not only calmed my nerve, but also helped me prepare for the presentation so that I could nail it. The fourth way it could help is with a selfie caption. Now I know this might seem silly, but you've been there when you're trying to post a picture on social media and you're stuck because you don't have the perfect caption. Now, with ChatGPT, all you have to do is tell it the type of picture you want to post, and within seconds, you'll have a list of captions to choose from. I put that I just wanted to post a simple selfie and I needed some caption ideas. Within seconds, I had a list of captions and emojis that I could choose from. Last and final way ChatGPT can help you is by creating a custom workout plan. Now I know this might seem more of a personal trainer's job, but ChatGPT kind of nails it. All you have to do is tell it the type of workout you want and what area of your body you want to target. Then you have a bunch of workouts to choose from that you can incorporate into your everyday routine. These were our best picks. Let us know if you try any or if you have any other productivity hacks.
Your mic is muted.
There you go. It will create workouts for you. It will create everything for you. And that is what is so frightening for education in the future. Because those of us who are in the classroom, if we give an assignment, all the kids need to do now is ask ChatGPT a few questions, or actually put the assignment in ChatGPT, and it spews out the answers for them. So that is where education is going now. So we can't even afford to be in a traditional classroom environment anymore, because the computers and artificial intelligence, and I am concerned about that word artificial. So how artificial is that if it is doing the work of humans? Lawyers, I mean, people in the legal field, people in medical fields, people in the media are very, very, very concerned about ChatGPT and how it's taking over what they are required to do. And so we're talking about education in the future. We have to be concerned about that now. Next slide, please. So, right here then, so I just want to talk about some other new pedagogical advancements in how education is delivered. So we have the ChatGPT, that's here to stay. But here is something that we can do as educators now if we want to at least halfway catch up to where ChatGPT is and where artificial intelligence is going. There is this, and this is something Dr. Robinson spoke about. We chatted up, when I was asking him the question about modular curriculum stacking. Has anyone ever heard about that? Modular curriculum stacking. Next slide, please. So I'm going to give you an example of how this works and why this is so relevant now. And this is where universities, college and universities ought to be going with how they advise their students. So modular curriculum stacking, the unbundling of traditional learning packages. So you have your traditional learning packages, the associate's degree, bachelor's degree, master's, et cetera, into more manageable learning chunks that are also tied to real career and life outcomes. Modular learning enables students or working professionals to learn new skills in shorter amounts of time, even while they work, and those seeking a degree can do so in a much more attainable way. They also earn credentials for the smaller modules of learning, thereby garnering value and positive feedback early in the process of advancing toward full degrees. This early positive feedback also increases motivation for learners to persist toward the full degree if that is their goal. So in other words, when you hear stackable, go to the next slide for me. Let me show you something. When you hear curriculum stacking, think about this picture here. So you perhaps start with that base rock, and then you continue to stack certifications one on the other. But the difference between this and your traditional learning, in a traditional environment, you spoke to your advisor and they told you, you have to do these 20 courses, regardless of what you think. If you come for a bachelor's degree in business management, like I got back in the day, here is your, what they call it, curriculum, your advisement sheet, and you had to do all of these courses, some that you had no interest in. This is a new way of dealing with that. So go to the next slide. Here's how this works. Yeah, okay. So some bundles. So what we call it, I just came up with some sample bundles. Each of these bundles then would have 21 credits, okay? So supposing I want to do a degree in tourism management, but I want to do that and I want to be able to do something in wine because I love to drink wine. I may have an affinity for a foreign language. So I could pick up a bundle, I could pick up a certificate in French or Spanish. I could pick up a certificate in catering because I might like to entertain or somewhere. This is just an example of some of the bundles that can be created. So if Akima, for example, Akima, I'm gonna use you, if she had an inkling that she wanted to do pastry back in when she was perhaps getting a degree, if that was an option for her, she could have picked up a certificate in that earlier on in her degree, right? And realized that that is something that she's now very passionate about and she's fulfilling a dream. But she didn't get that opportunity. I'm probably sure she didn't while she was in her university environment. She did not get that opportunity. So what it is now, it is allowing the student, the university student, to design their own curriculum based on courses that are available or certificates that are available. So colleges and universities now have to design chunks of education that people can pick up. And so a traditional bachelor's degree is about 120, 121 credits. Go to the next slide for me. Suggestion here would be, yeah, right. You do a core, because everybody wants, so you have to know some English, you have to know some math. These are your core classes, eh? And then you could decide from these bundles that are available, how do I get to 121 on my own? And it's what I want to do. At the end of the day, I am fluent in French or Spanish or German or Creole or whatever the language is. I want to do some, I'm a couple courses away from being a sommelier and so on, because I would have already done what I wanted to do in college and university. And how attractive is that? We're going to talk about the cost benefit analysis. How attractive is this kind of education versus what I got when I was going through bachelor's and master's? If I didn't have to take statistics, I wouldn't. Oh, okay, so you could name some courses that if you didn't have to do it, you would not do it. If you had that opportunity back then to say to your advisors, listen, I'll do your core. You can't get away from that. You'll do the core because there's some core competencies that you have to have. But allow me to do what I want to do. At the end of the day, you get a more satisfied student. One of the things that we are learning in education today is a whole lot of kids don't even want to go to college and universities because of that traditional style of education. If they had an opportunity to do a certificate in law, they would do it along with some other things. So they cherry pick the certificates that they want because they know at the end of the day, they get to the 121 that satisfies the accreditation of the university, satisfies the university. But it's their interest. And that is the thing. Go to the next slide for me, please. And this is a presentation part of a presentation I presented to my colleagues maybe a month ago, and they didn't get it. But anyway, then I was talking about that with Bob last week. The cost benefit analysis, students have the flexibility of choice. Courses are taught modular style. This allows for reduction of lag time in the year. So when we talk about modular style, so if a certificate is 21 credits, you do all the 21 credits before you move on to the next certificate. So you get that certificate. So if you want to exit at any point, you have something that you could exit the university. Because again, attrition is a big thing in universities right now. Not everybody can afford, Duran said that earlier, to go through a whole 4-year degree because of the expense. But if you have a choice and you could select 5 certificates, if by your 2nd year, you know you are exiting that university with some competency in a certain area because you would have done that. And that's the thing about modular style education. Faculty have the potential always to be fully engaged. Courses are offered in modular block style or 6 weeks per course with 1 week of testing. Again, you dump that out 6 weeks as opposed to 14 weeks. Who wouldn't want to do that? Get it all in 6 weeks and be done with it. Each module can be priced according to course. Now, obviously, some things in the sciences and then maybe the technology realm would be a little bit more expensive. I don't mind paying for that if I know at the end of the day, I'm coming out certified in that area. Probability of a great mix of traditional and older students in the classroom. Opportunity to engage more industry and local expertise to teach certain courses. Again, you are able to bring in, because a busy person like our president don't have 14 weeks to teach a class. She could tell you, I could do this in 4 or 6 weeks because we're meeting every day or every other day. Boom, knock that out and be done with it. People in the industry don't have a lot of time. So, but they want to be able to give back. But universities consistently ask them, can you teach this class for me? So how long is the class? 14 weeks. Hello, I'm sorry, I can't do it. So you miss that opportunity of engaging industry people. There's a strong probability of increasing revenue from courses, these modular style, taken by curious seekers who may not wish to read for an entire degree. So you can pull people from anywhere then into a course that if it's only 6 weeks versus telling them, you have to enroll in the university in order to get a degree in catering management. Why? I only want a degree. I only want certification in catering. I only want to do this. Why do you tell me? And this is the reality now. They tell the people, I'm sorry, you can't just come in here and take a certificate, 6-week certificate in catering. You have to be enrolled in the bachelor or associate's degree. Gone are those days. Gone are those days. Next slide, please. I hate to say that, next slide. But anyway, this is my final slide here. And this again is part of the presentation that I presented a couple of weeks ago to my colleagues. Who do you target? You want to target then those same people that you're asking to come for a full degree. You want to target the high school graduates, and plenty graduates will tell you that they're not interested in going to college. One, they look at it as being prohibitive in terms of cost. And they can't see themselves in today's dispensation sitting down for 4 years to do a degree that they're not interested in. They may be interested in maybe 1 or 2 courses. And the data tells, everything is data driven. The data tells us that students are not, I taught a course in management this semester, Management 101. And it's amazing the results that I got when I do your traditional testing and so on. The students are just not engaged anymore like that. There were pockets that were really, really good, and then a whole bunch of them were just not good. But they're tuned out. After 15 minutes of talking, they're out wondering how they're gonna make some money for their entrepreneurial venture and doing all kinds of other things. That is the reality. So those of you with kids in class, that is the reality right now. They're tuned out. But we make them go because we've been off to college and we gotta go. No, they're not interested in the traditional college setting anymore. They're just not interested. Anyway, and so that's who we target. General public. What about the associate's degree? They will require thank you. Anyway, this is where we are going. These notes right here. And of course, as I indicated, it's a revenue generation opportunity for plenty of universities to go the route of the modular stacking curriculum. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Rotarians, I could go on and on because I could talk a lot and a long time, but I want to stop right there, obviously, and entertain any questions that you may have about the presentation that I just made. Yes, President-elect.
So the modular stacking, I see that in certain areas and other courses, other learning environments, but in a university setting, I think it's very important for the student and the advisor to know where the student is desiring to go first before just choosing courses.
Absolutely.
Because you can find yourself wanting to be, I don't know, say a financial advisor, but you don't do any economics courses.
But PE, that is rarely the case. That is, and you have where the students have to take a core set of classes. And during that time, you really ought to be advising the student and finding out what's in their head. And even if you pick somewhere along the line, you have an opportunity to still pick up some courses in economics or whatever. If you decide, that's the flexibility of this style of education. Because after you've done 2 certificates and you realize, somebody really can't cook, this is not for me. You still have a long ways to go. And you could now pick up other courses where your interest really lies and your strengths are. And this style of education is not negating the role of the advisor. The role of the advisor becomes very, very critical because you want to continuously speak to your students and find out, listen, is this really where you ought to be going or you want to be going? And give them, and they have that opportunity rather than spending half a year, 2 years determining that this is not working. They have an opportunity to interject in intervals and say, but you perhaps need to go in this direction. So it's, yes.
Are there universities that have adopted this?
Yes, many of the larger universities actually are taking on this kind of model because they realize that they're losing students. We think the Bahamas is big, but it's not. It's very tiny, but in larger environments in the United States, the Cambridges, the Cornells, and so on, they are following this model because they realize that they can get, it's really bottom line driven, revenue based. They can get more money if they follow a model like this, and it gives the student that flexibility. Yes, dear.
So the presentation last week was good. This was good. I reflected on a week ago, I went to a Paulo Capper function
Mhm.
4 million plus dollars in scholarship.
Mhm.
What that brought to my mind was, when the gentleman spoke last week with, the way universities going and students attending. So would you say that's the reason why? Because, I mean, when I went to the presentation, so many persons just got like full ride scholarships to these universities. I think that's the way now because of, I guess, the loss of revenue or, students not interested in that way of learning, as you said, that now universities are, they give them more full rights, if interested in.
Well, certainly, that federal money, in the United States situation, that federal money is out there now, just sitting down, because students are not taking advantage of it, because they don't want that traditional education any longer. So they now have a lot more money that they can throw around and say, please come to my traditional learning environment. And students are saying, no, I don't want that. But you find there's an increase in the tech folk area, because people realize now a plumber can make a lot more than an educator.
This is good. Happens when you do it too.
There's a question on the.
Okay,
See
5
what-
minutes.
You're still
so
getting.
that we
There's a
can-
question. Go ahead. Someone's
Hi.
online?
Good morning, not a question, just a comment. Good morning, fellow Rotarians and guests. Just wanted to share with you in regards to the ChatGPT. I was doing a training session with a few of my students, preparing them for the BJC and the BGCSE. And as we were going through some mock questions, I noticed one of my students, she was really dragging and taking her time because we were going through a writing paper. And I was trying to, pretty much tell her to hurry up because the time was going and we would have to leave the location. And in literally no time, I saw her, she was on her watch. She had the ChatGPT set up on something. And the question I had that I wrote on the board, she put it in the phone and literally in seconds, it was written. She had it up. She wrote it out in less than 5 minutes and it was flawless. It was flawless. And I sat there in awe. And I mean, it was a moment because we had a mixed group. We had children from other schools, and all of them were pretty much like, how did you do that? And when she started to explain, we did a ChatGPT training at work, and I had to tell my colleagues, we really have to be on top of our game because you can't take certain things for granted. These kids have one up on us. And I mean, we were in a training session. It wasn't a test or anything, but it just speaks volumes because, yeah. And I did speak to her afterwards and let her know that integrity is everything. But the reality of it is, this is a direction the world is going in. And the kids are way ahead of us. And so we have to be more technologically advanced, and we have to stay up to speed to really remain relevant in our fields. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I rest my case. So I have a trivia because I was given a gift card. So I'm just gonna ask, what year was ChatGPT introduced?
2020.
November 2020.
November 2022.
November 2022.
Actually, the president said it first. The president can't get a prize. I'm sorry. Okay, no, that's the prize over there. So for this little cute box here, can anyone tell me what date, day, month I opened my new business and the name of it? So you could win this. Give me that in the back.
In April. May 1st, 2023, candy bombs. Oh, jeez.
Oh, wait a minute, which day was May 1st?
She was on Monday.
She doesn't even get. So it was May 1st, Monday, May 1st, 2023, candy bombs.
And she has sugar daddies available.
Yes, thank you very much, colleagues. I mean, fellow Rotarians.
Excellent presentation. Thank you, as usual, Kiki Sophia. Great to see you in that role, unintended. But great job. So we are over time, so let's just ask Rotarian Tanisha to come forward for the raffle and then do the four-way test.
No, my vote of thanks no longer.
Oh, sorry. The vote of thanks, I'm sorry. The vote of thanks will be done by Director Patrick. I'm just thinking of time. Sorry, but we have to thank you. And let me get them on. Go ahead.
Dr. Sophia, we just want to say thank you. I mean, your presentation was awesome. The passion you put into it, you know, it came out, it showed. I learned stuff that I never knew before. You know, it's so much that when I had asked you to do this I basically was curious as to where we were with education, but I never realized that the future was that far advanced. And so for such an awesome presentation, we just want to say thank you and we appreciate you very much.
Thank you very much, Director Patrick.
Good morning, everyone. Shake, shake, shake. Rotarian Carolyn is gonna come in. Put my ticket. Thank you. Okay, so it's 620954.
Right after me.
Oh, congratulations. Okay. Can move it to you. Okay, can we all stand please for the four-way test? Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you.
And to do the final toast, it was Director Simone. Is she still online? Director Simone?
Yes, I am. Let us raise our mugs, tumblers, glasses, and cups to Rotary around the world.
Rotary around the world. Thank you, guys. Thank you for staying the course. Have a wonderful day. God bless you and your families. And remember to support Candy Bombs. Get your sugar daddy.